Hey everybody, it is Maddie here with Altcoin Buzz with you on this Saturday. Happy weekend. Today we're taking a look at positive big picture macro items, including the recent 800% Bitcoin trading volume spike that we saw out of Bakkt. It's being covered this time by none other than Forbes.com. Telegram is on the news here on TheVerge.com. It must halt the sale of its crypto token due to an SEC emergency restraining order. A little bit suspicious given that it was supposed to go live on the 31st of October. On brecorder.com, Visa, MasterCard, and others have exited Facebook's Libra cryptocurrency group. I'm personally raising a glass of champagne to this. I am not a fan of Libra, as you guys probably know by now, but we'll take a look at some of the details there affiliated with that story. And finally, on bitcoinist.com, Bitcoin millionaires, Bitcoin addresses holding 1,000 plus coins are on the rise. So the mega whale wallets are on the rise, it would seem. Before all that, though, let's take a look at the markets today on coinmarketcap.com. We are at 225 billion. Total market cap, Bitcoin dominance at 66.8%. And Bitcoin is as flat as you can be on the day, 0.00% change in the last 24 hours. And as you can see, things are very, very slightly up or very, very slightly down. We are horizontal with the price of Bitcoin at $8,367 at the time of this recording. Okay, so we covered this the other day in the news, but just wanted to point out the fact that Forbes is now highlighting Bakkt's success. Bakkt's Bitcoin trading volume suddenly explodes, jumping to 800%. The Bitcoin futures coming to the Bakkt trading platform was expected to be one of the biggest events, of course, in the crypto calendar this year. It hasn't really been borne out that way, unfortunately, but after a slow start, Bitcoin futures contracts being traded on the International Continental Exchange Bakkt Bitcoin and crypto platform finally appear to be picking up, recording a daily increase of almost 800% earlier this week. Quote, as we continue to build the Bakkt Bitcoin futures contract, we reached a new trading record of 212 contracts traded on Wednesday. That was Bakkt via Twitter. They also said with Wednesday's close, Bakkt set a new daily record of $1.93 million, bringing its total number of outstanding contracts to 1,197 as of the 9th of October, worth $10.2 million. Now, in my opinion, a one-day overnight jump does not a success make, and this would be a much different story if it were month on month or especially year on year. But as you can see here, on the 8th of October, there were 25 contracts that were fulfilled, and that jumped up to 225 for some reason very next day on the 9th of October. Probably came down since then, and sure, it's a bit of a one-day statistical anomaly, but nice to see those kinds of increases. In my opinion, it would be better if they're sustained over time, of course. But just wanted to point out the fact that Forbes is obviously interested in this story, and as news develops on this issue, I'm sure and I hope that we will hear more from them as time goes by. With a little bit of unfortunate news now, we're on TheVerge.com. Unfortunate / sketchy, actually. Telegram must halt sale of its crypto token due to an SEC emergency restraining order. The Gram network is supposed to go live by the 31st of October this year, Halloween. The SEC has told the parent company of the Telegram encrypted messaging service to halt its cryptocurrency Gram. The SEC says the company and its crypto-focused subsidiary TON, T-O-N Issuer Incorporated, failed to register an early sale of $1.7 billion of its crypto tokens prior to the October 31st launch of its blockchain network. Quote, our emergency action today is intended to prevent Telegram from flooding the U.S. market with digital tokens that we allege were unlawfully sold, writes Stephanie Avakian, the co-director of the SEC's Division of Enforcement, in a statement. We allege that the defendants have failed to provide investors with information regarding Gram's and Telegram's business operations, financial conditions, risk factors, and management that the security laws require. Okay, but here's the all-important catch, and this is why I'm kind of scratching my head and have my spidey sense going off just a little bit, because if Telegram doesn't distribute the quote first batch of tokens by Halloween of this year, it has to give back the money it raised, according to documents reviewed by the New York Times. And according to the SEC, the investors in Gram included 171 individuals and organizations worldwide that purchased 2.9 million tokens. And if those tokens were distributed unlawfully, if they're not able to launch by the 31st of October, the deal was that they have to return the $1.7 billion that was raised. Telegram would have to return it, that is. If you all members of the Altcoin Buzz Army are behind Telegram, if you're hoping for the best, you may want to check out this story in more detail. Here's the thing. Telegram has remained oddly quiet about key details of its so-called TON network. The blockchain platform is designed to be paired with a digital wallet that, like Facebook's struggling Libra project, which we're going to look at in just a moment, aims to offer decentralized currency to anyone with a smartphone. This hit by the SEC is not one that Telegram wanted to sustain. Let's see how Pavel Durov responds. Hopefully it's going to be direct and it's going to be concrete in terms of what their actions will be in response to these SEC developments. As best as I can tell, again, it's always at the time of this recording that I'm reporting, but the Telegram Messenger account here at Telegram on Twitter has nothing to say on the issue. Last tweet we know here is from the 11th of October. Pavel Durov also kind of silent on this most recent development. So let's see what happens and hope for the best. We'll update you accordingly as this story develops. In other news here on Business Recorder, also a little bit of, unfortunately, pessimistic news. I guess it depends which way you're looking at it, which perspective you take on. But here, Visa, MasterCard, and others exit Facebook's Libra cryptocurrency group. Personally, I'm kind of celebrating this because I never really thought that Libra was a good thing for cryptocurrency. It kind of was maybe a bit of a catalyzing force that got people talking about this space. But Libra has always been an imposter, at least in my opinion, and maybe for different reasons, some of these companies are leaving the project. In brief here, the Libra Association is a group overseeing a cryptocurrency project announced by Facebook back in June. PayPal has already dropped out of the project, so it seems like we're seeing a chain reaction here on the part of investors and partners' confidence. Yes, a week after PayPal left Facebook's Libra Association, Visa, MasterCard, eBay, Stripe, and Mercado Pago too have all withdrawn from the project. The Libra Association is a project which Facebook plans to launch what it envisions as a global currency. The project was launched in June with 28 members, but as I mentioned last week, PayPal was the first to drop out. In a statement, eBay said that it is focused on rolling out eBay's managed payments experience for its customers. Quote, "We highly respect the vision of the Libra Association. However, eBay has made the decision to not move forward as a founding member." And then you have credit giant Visa too has decided not to join the Libra Association. They said, quote, "We will continue to evaluate and our ultimate decision will be determined by a number of factors, including the association's ability to fully satisfy all requisite regulatory expectations." That was courtesy of a Visa spokesperson who spoke to The Verge. And finally, Stripe, in a statement, said that it is supportive of projects that aim to make online commerce more accessible for people around the world. Quote, "Libra has this potential. We will follow its progress closely and remain open to working with the Libra Association at a later stage." Okay, disclaimer, this is going to be pure speculation, but I don't think that companies this size, of this stature, can all of a sudden simultaneously come to these conclusions independent of each other. I think something is happening behind the scenes. There was some kind of, whether it was an idea, whether it was a problem that was expressed that just spread virally within this group of the key founding members, 28 of them, I believe. And there's something that we are not privy to. And when I say we, the general public, there's something that's going on behind the scenes. Maybe it was the ambitions of Libra. Maybe it was the mismanagement of the project. Maybe it was the fact that they didn't define themselves correctly as a digital asset or a cryptocurrency. But there is something that is repulsive to these major players, the Visas, the eBays, the MasterCards of the world. And that's my contention. This is all PR spin. This is kind of damage control right now. They're putting out nice, fluffy messages that are positive, that are not damaging any of their brands internationally, but there's something big that's happening behind the scenes, and we just don't know exactly what that is. But this is a catastrophe for Facebook and Libra. Here's what David Marcus, the head of the project, said. "Special thanks to Visa and MasterCard for sticking it out until the 11th hour." Yeah, why would you say that? This is just damage control. "The pressure has been intense," understatement, "and I respect their decision to wait until there's regulatory clarity for Libra to proceed versus the invoked threats by many on their biz." Maybe if nothing else, they thought that they were going to be challenged by the Securities and Exchange Commission, as we just saw was done with Telegram. That's a possibility, and they figured at a certain point, at this stage, the risks outweigh the benefits, the cons outweigh the pros. That's also possible, but I think it's going to come out eventually. There is something happening. There is a shakeup behind the scenes. Just my opinion, just theorizing. Let us know what your hypotheses are in the comments below. And finally here, we are on Bitcoinist.com, celebrating the fact that Bitcoin addresses holding 1,000 or more coins are on the rise. So Bitcoin whale addresses has hit a new all-time high. There are only 12,000 Bitcoin millionaires. I didn't know that. And that coincides with a new hash rate all-time high. So despite a fall this year of around 40%, many Bitcoin price metrics are still overwhelmingly bullish. The number of addresses holding over 1,000 coins, for example, and the number of Bitcoin millionaires have both increased this year alongside network health indicators such as hash rate. And I guess it stands to reason. I mean, hypothetically speaking, imagine a Bitcoin billionaire for the sake of argument. And again, this is just to illustrate the point, but imagine a Bitcoin billionaire selling his Bitcoin or her Bitcoin at near all-time highs, and then that's gobbled up by 10 or so smaller fish, or maybe 100 or 1,000 smaller fish. Well, one billionaire can obviously, through the sale of their assets, generate many hundreds of millionaires. So that's always a possibility. The number of Bitcoin addresses holding more than 1,000 coins has hit a high of over 2,000 this month alone. And check out the sudden price. It's not a price spike, I suppose, but it's a metric. It's a statistical spike. Number of Bitcoin addresses holding more than 1,000 Bitcoin here on @Glassnode reporting the numbers. But what's interesting is that there are only 12,000 Bitcoin millionaires. I guess depending on the way you look at it, that either sounds like a high number or a small one. But another chart, as posted by analyst Willy Woo, has shown that the number of Bitcoin millionaires stands at only 12,000 out of 36 million globally. Quote, here's the chart from the number of Bitcoin millionaires over time, around 12,000 right now. There's 36 million millionaires on this planet. It's still early days if you believe Bitcoin will be the new currency. And scrolling down a little bit further here, you can take a look at the chart that Willy Woo at Woonomic is referencing. So kind of good news all around. This is secondary indirect good news, and it includes the fact that we are at a new hash rate all-time high. New all-time high is 110.19. What is that? Exahashes? I'm not too sure, but hash rate is a measure of computing horsepower and network security, and it has been steadily increasing for the past 2 years. Those are kind of lagging indicators, if you will, or preliminary indicators that'll be borne out with price increases, price rises down the line, maybe a few months, maybe even a year down the line. But I'm a big fan of increases in hash rate. That's a positive indication, at least to me. Let us know your thoughts about these indirect success metrics in the comments below, as always. But that about rounds it out for today, everybody. Do be sure you are following us on all the regular social media channels, including altcoinbuzz.io, our website, where you can always check for new updates. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead, like, subscribe, share, hit the bell to receive notifications. Best of luck if you choose to invest on this weekend, of course, but happy Saturday, everybody. Have a great one. And as always, we do hope to see you tomorrow on Sunday again in our next video. Take care.